Welcome, dear friend. In this video I am going to guide you. At the end, you'll be able to build and deploy your first Solidity smart contract on Solana blockchain with the help of Solang and Anchor. I'm going to take you, it's going to be purely practical, step by step. You have been following, I believe. If you are not, you may check other ones. If you are transitioning from Ethereum to, Solidity to Solang Solidity for Solana, I've explained everything that I'll be covering in this practical based step by step video. But if you are new, you can check them out as well. But here is just focusing mainly on the building. And in case you are new here, I am Solomon Foske, founder of dProgrammingUniversity. We create Web3 development courses, deep dive, a lot more other content like tutorial, guides, and even at times non-technical Web3 content to further Web3 adoption. So if that interests you, subscribe, tap the notification bell, and head straight to our website to start taking the courses. At the same time, you can join the Discord for support on any of those content, including dedicated channel for this Solana as well to get support. Now, before I move on, I want to make a disclaimer and disclosure as well. The disclosure being that we may invest, trade, take grant, bounty before, on, or after this content has been created for you, but we try all we can at dProgrammingUniversity to ensure the content is always unbiased as much as possible to be helpful. Now, the disclosure is that all our content at dProgrammingUniversity, including this, are just purely for educational purpose only. They are not investment advice, they are not financial advice, and they do not constitute investment advice into any of those platform or Web3 projects that we discuss. So always please do your own research, and using any part of this content or whole means that you agree that we are not liable for any losses that you may incur. Now, if you are okay with that, let's get started. Cool. What we are actually, I'm going to take you step by step, walk you through from just having knowledge of Solidity with Ethereum to going through the process, which first I will do a quick recap, which you should go and watch all those series. Is you need to understand what Solang is, which you can see it's the compiler that will help us to make it possible for us to have Solidity in the format bytecode that will work on Solana as a native Solana program, just as if we had to use Rust or any other program to build it. Now, the other one you need to understand about the Anchor that I'll be using. I've discussed about it as a framework used by Solana developer. Then we also talk about setting up the environment that we'll be using. So I won't be going into all those because I've done it. I believe at this stage you have followed that and you have your environment, Solana development environment, well set up with Solang ready and Anchor ready to develop your Solidity smart contract, build them, deploy, and test it on Solana blockchain. So now let's get on into it more. The first thing you want to search for Solidity for Solana development DPU, you go to the ultimate guide. That's what we'll be following here, which I wrote myself. So, and do this analysis. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments below in your journey from Ethereum to Solana. Now, that being said, you have the full outline, and you can see we are on the last part here, which is the building, and you also have the exercise you can do. You should also go through. Now, building and deploying your first Solidity smart contract on Solana. Now you can see Yeah, the part you have most likely be excited, I've been waiting for in the whole journey so far with Solang Solidity for Solana program development. Now, the first thing we need to do is to initialize Solang Solidity Solana program folder via Anchor. We have everything set up. So, but before we initialize the folder, let's do these basic things. You know, I told you I'm using on Linux, but if you are following how to set up the environment, you should be ready by now as well for both Windows and Mac OS as well. So the step one, I need to create a folder. So I open a terminal. Let's have that folder in your terminal. So I created Solang demos folder, right, click it and selected open in terminal. So what happened is that let's have that folder. So you can see that I have this folder Solang demo. So inside of the Solang demos, I have this already while writing for this text version, the guide you are reading. So I need to do the screenshot and things like that. So that's why we have a little adjustment. So what you just need is you create the new folder anywhere in your own desktop or wherever. New folder. I want to call this, oh sorry, we have already created the folder. It said I've used it as an example, which is Solang demo, where you want the folder to the something to be, not this hello word though, just like maybe Solang demo or DPU demo. Now once you open it, open the folder, I right click, depending on your own OS, it will give me this inside the folder. I just click open in terminal. Now this is so important for also moving forward. It open it directly into the link of that something. You may not be able to see based on the color, but you can see Solang demos. Now what we need to do here is to create the folder, the anchor folder, to initialize it. So let's go back. This is it, you have me. Then initialize the anchor folder with this. Before we use it, let me break it down. Anchor, when you are using Anchor framework for development on Solana, you have the keyword, the anchor. Then this means initialize it, an anchor folder. Then this keyword is for the name of that folder. So any project, any name you want to give your project, it should be this. You replace this with it. Then you have to put this flag, because this same anchor is being used if you want to, you know, set up project folder like this, anchor project for Rust development on Solana. So this flag is what help you specify that specifically you want Solidity based structure and template, not just Rust. So this is so important. If you don't put this, it will still set up, but it will set up Rust for you. So that's very important for you to consider. Then let's go back, we paste this and enter. Do you see it? File exists. Yeah. So what I will do now is let me just add 2 here. So, or let me add S. Yeah. So this will be hello Solana words. You see it now. So just to make sure I'm able to have it. But it should be able to work for you, because you shouldn't have that folder before. I already have it before. So it will initialize a lot of things. All these things will likely take within 1 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, or maybe more depending on your network, but usually it doesn't take long. If we look here, you will see that it has initialized another folder. Sorry for any background noise. It has initialized another folder. We now have hello Solana words. You remember I had S because we already have this and didn't allow us to have two project with the same name. So that's how you see it's still taking some time. It usually take about 2-3 minutes or so, depending on, because it's initializing a lot of things. Yarn, you see, that's why we remember the yarn when we are installing the Anchor and the development video. Cool, we have it set up. You can see this completed. You see, took about 144 seconds or so based on my own network. You see, it's initialize a lot of things, TypeScript and all those things and every other thing we need. So, and these two things you need to observe. It said initialize empty Git repo in that same folder, which will be useful for us later to push to GitHub. Then it's now initialize the full folder itself, which you can see it now. So that's, we are done with the initial step. So the next step is to open the folder in VS Code or your other preferred editor. So I'm using VS Code. So let me for me to open that, I can use the short code here. So the first thing I need to do is to cd into that folder, cd hello-solana-word with s. Good. And once I'm in, put it here. Once I'm in, I can just do code, short code for dot. Dot means that particular folder. So it will open it in VS Code. Cool. So I trust the author for it to work. Then, so we have this now. You can see hello Solana words, and I set up a lot of things. That's why I said there are a lot of things is setting up for us here. So we still work on through the most important files and folder, but at least from here you can easily spot Solidity. So we still work through them one by one. So let's check out the next step. So the next step is for us to do an overview of the folder, what each of those folder represents. So now this app folder, this is meant for you if you want to build front page like a monorepo or something. Later you want to house it in the same folder on your Git repo, then this could be useful for it. Then we can just ignore the migration. These are like configuration, deploy tip and all those things. Then, you know, as usual, your node, all these one are not, you can ignore this as well. But the major one is this Solidity. Click it and you can see hello Solana word, which is the same thing with this name of our project. If you click on it, you can see it now. It gives us this Solana smart contract. If you have ever written anything in Solana, in Solidity, then you can start getting, you know, familiar that okay, this is familiar Solidity smart contract code. So those are the one that houses everything you need for the Solidity smart contract with bank. Then you also have another folder here, which is the tests. This is important when you are developing with Solana. So, you know, like from Rust, let me try to open this well. Then if I double tap this, this is actually the test which Anchor uses to execute test. And what it does for us is for us to test out the functions, the features you have in your smart contract, if they will work as intended after deploying it. So you can run this you see there are a lot of things it contains, including setting up our provider and some things like that. And Anchor, there are about 3 steps involved in deploying this thing, the Solana blockchain. So we'll look into it, but according to our steps here, I think the next thing it says is for us to set up the GitHub repo. So let's quickly do that. So that for some of you it will surely help. So we are not touching this now. Then you have the git ignore, which tells things that shouldn't be committed to the git when we push it later. Then all this ignore for linting. Then this is another important file here. Let me open it also. So we have the hello world, Solana world.so. The .so is the extension dot. You know, when you are using like .doc, so for so that's .so. If it is Rust.rs, TypeScript.ts and things like that, so or JavaScript.js, then you can see this is a TypeScript ts.ts, and then we have this Anchor.tom. You remember in the setup of the development environment, I told you you may need to set to install something relating to Tom. That's why you may be able to read this easily. If not, you may see things scattered. In case you see it that way, it may be because you didn't have the extension, which I told you can search here for Tom, better Tom or something. I think that one is depletable. If you search for it, you will see the better current working option to work with. So that help you to link and make it easier for you to read what is actually going on here. Then your normal package JSON you can ignore as well. Node.js, you use this to track your dependencies and things like similar to how this also serve like your package JSON but for Anchor for Solana development. So then your TS config, then TypeScript config. So but the major 3 ones we need here is this Solidity, this one, the actual Solidity smart contracts, then the test it deployed, then the Anchor.tom. At times you may need to do some configuration here in case you want to deal with local divnet, mainnet, you want to swap to them. So that's the major thing about the file structure. So the next thing we have is to push to the GitHub. For us to do that, you remember it has already initialized something. So the first thing now we see is you go to the to your GitHub and go and set up a empty repo. So I'll try to, so you can follow me if you get onto GitHub, and at the same time follow the dProgrammingUniversity official GitHub repo account as well. So now we come to repo. We set up new repo. So the hello, I have it here, but I want to take you step by step as well. So I already used that for the text version of the guide. So we have this already. We are not using a template, your account. So if you have multiple accounts, you just choose the one. Then the repo, make sure it's the same name. That makes it better. Hello Solana -word. If I do word, you will see it won't work because it's, you see it, the repo already exists like the folder. So I will put S. Good. So we have that now, and this, the description and build and deploy. deploy first Solana program with Solidity with this guide. Then you pick if you are making it private or public, so make it public. So don't initialize. That's what it means by creating an empty repo. You don't initialize it with a file or folder or any readme. Once you click this, it will no more be an empty repo. So, and that could cause issue for you later down the line. So every other thing is okay. We can create. Cool. We have this hello Solana words. You can see, I see that it's empty. There is no file, and when you set up empty, that's when you also see this kind of instruction to create the repo. So what we need to do next is we come here, git remote add, ignore all other steps. We already have it initialized. So add origin this. So these already have the URL of the repo itself, which is the, so we'll go back and then go to terminal, VS Code, and back to VS Code. Now, so with the new terminal now, let's paste what we copied. Enter. So it seems as if nothing was done. Actually something was done. So let's confirm git remote v, that's remote version. So if you could have even run this before we did it, so we confirm it. So if we run this before, it will just be empty or something, but now you can see the origin is now pointing to this particular git repo that we have opened for it, hello Solana words. So we are set with that step. The next thing is for us to now add, if we do git status, you see that a lot of all these things are not committed, so we need to add it. But before we do that, for I just want to write add a read me.md, so it doesn't start complaining later that I should give description. So this is a test repo for the Solang Solidity for Solana development course by Solomon Foske on dProgrammingUniversity.com. So whatever, I just want to put something there so I don't get any kind of complaint. So for me now, you do git add, then git add to add everything. If I do git status again, you see that everything has been added and ready for commit. So then the next one I want to do is git commit m, then initialized Solidity smart contracts for Solana with Solang and Anchor folder. So comma enter. Then if you do git status again, we see it. that's already committed, then it's time for us to git push. So to push it, sorry, being the first time, we should use this so that it connects with the origin. Git push, I think origin or something. So git push dash u origin main. Good. You can see it now. All this has been pushed. Let's confirm git status. You see it now. It's now connected to the main something. These are origin, now pointing to the main. Now let's go back and go and check. You can see this is the empty. If I decide to open another tab, you see it now. I say 1 minute ago, because we just did it together instant, and you see it. Test people for Solang Solidity for Solana development course by Solomon Foskey. You see what we did, and you can see the same thing, the Solidity folder, and you see the Solana, the smart contract, Solidity smart contract. So everything is now up. The same if I refresh here, taking this so that you don't get confused. You can see it now. So have this done, because in the exercise you also do something like this, so you don't come and comment that you don't know how to do it or something like that. But if you get stuck, you can always get help. Join the Discord, and in the Solana dedicated channel for Solana, ask your question there for any of these content related to Solana, so you can ask there. If you like this content, like, subscribe, share the video, and let's know in the as well. So we are moving forward. We have set up, we have pushed. Now it's time to deploy our Solidity Solana smart contract on chain. So we have done everything up to prepare for a time like this. So for us to do that, let's quickly do a bit breakdown of analysis of the Solidity smart contract powered by Solang itself, and try to get familiar what's there. We see some differences between them. I've also done a video about that in this series, so you can watch it, but let's do a summary of what's going on. So if you check this now, let's go back to the Hello Solana. What does so you can see it that we got some things here, and I bring this a bit down. Okay, cool. So you can see it now. You have the @program ID. Usually when it is Solidity, you're doing something like Pragma Solidity, the version you want to use to compile that's something. But don't forget, here it is not direct Solidity on Ethereum. This is Solidity Solang Solidity on Solana. So if you are new, go on those things. I've broke down how those things come to be, differences between Solidity on Ethereum and Solidity for Solana. So you go and check those things, but practically that's what you are seeing now. So let's go back. We're on the deploy section. Deploy your Solidity. You can always get the guide. Go to Google and search Solidity for Solana development, DPU, locate ultimate guide to Solidity for Solana by dProgrammingUniversity.com. So you land here, and then, or you check link in the description as well. So now inside you will see Hello Solana word, which is what you are seeing, and we are trying to break it down for you. So that's the first difference you will see. I will tell you how this, but you know already, like your contract, the name of the contract, and all those keywords like that, if you're already familiar. So what this is like how you initialize a contract. So every code in a Solidity contract is inside like a box called contract. So when you open up that box, you begin to now see different things like this variable or any other ones inside like local variable. You begin to see constructor, begin to see function like this and things like that. So now inside that box, that contract, but that's when you have all the code. Anything outside, you can see this bracket. You see that this bracket from here to here, anything outside of it, the Solidity compiler will not run it or identify it as part of your smart contract code. So the same thing still applies here. If you check it through, then if you look at, you see this declaring a variable called value. So this bool, that means it's a typed. You have to tell Solidity precisely the type of that variable. So I won't go deep into all this anyway. If you want to learn about Solidity, you are new, I want to start developing with Solidity smart contract, then go and take my full course. It's free, 100% free. I've done it. It gives the, well, because it's the same, it's some basic things that are different. So learning that same course will give you the basic of a lot of these things then before you modify it for Solana. So that's this one. You see this payer, this payer are not applicable normally in the normal like Ethereum Solidity smart contract. But this one, what it does is, in every of Solana program, there are two important things. Like one, the program ID. The program ID needs to be passed in. Then two is the payer. Like I told you, you should go and watch it. The way Solana account model was built, you have the executable program account and non-executable. Executable like your smart contract, only old code. Then it's used like data non-executable account to keep the data. So usually to execute those things, the data account usually old. So those things. So and it's from that you are deploying, because even when you want to host those things, you have to pay for rent on Solana blockchain, and all these things need you to have so to pay. So that's why right from the point you are deploying, who is paying for any of these fields need to be indicated. So that's why you see it being introduced. I may not be familiar with it on Ethereum Solidity smart contract. Now you should be constructor, always run once in the lifetime of Ethereum Solidity smart contract. The same like here, because it's good to use it to initialize the state of your smart contract. Okay, once we deploy this smart contract, it should be in this state. So that's when you now see this print, like a function there that is telling it that why it's doing that, it should log it for us that okay, this smart contract has deployed, put hello world. So we still come back to that. Then you have one function that is used to flip this variable, state variable, which means when this function is called, you can see this, it tells it should do the opposite, which means if this value is true, once this function is called and successfully executed, it's from true to false. If this value is false, then this we switch it from false to true. So that's just plain what this function is doing. Then this function is to get, and you notice we have something like view, return. All these things are explained in the Solidity development for beginner course. Go and go through. But summary, what this, the difference between these is that we call this something like setter function. That means it changes state or local variable here in the smart contract, but this one changes nothing. This one is just reading the value that okay, can you tell me what is the value of this variable called value? That is all. That's so ironic. That's even called value. So what's the value of this particular variable. So you are just reading. Most time these things are transactions are usually free, you know, and they come. So that's what this second function as well. So I believe I've been able to break this down, and we'll continue. You want to learn more on Solidity, differences between also Solidity for something, you have the courses there. Please go and check them. You guys need have question about this, straight to our Discord. Please like, subscribe, share. The more we reach more people, the more we also get partners and support, and then we can do in-depth, helpful, free content for you in Web3 development. So that's the major thing. Then you have the Hello World test, you remember. So this initialize the anchor, the program, the Hello World contract. Then usually it's just about two things as well. First, help you, because when you want to deploy on Solana smart contract or blockchain, or cluster, there are about three things that you will do, which are: you start Solana validator, which is the validators are the one that produces the blockchain or the block, something. So you need it to be running. So in this case, you are running the local, which is single validator local and things like that, on your own system. It is not on DivNet, it is not on testnet, it is not on mainnet. So then you need to build. When you have built program before, when you build it, make it bundle everything together to make it available as one for deployment. Then you deploy the smart contract to the Solana validator, the same thing like Solana Blockchain. So once you deploy to Solana Blockchain, then you can now run these tests. That's this particular test to test. So when you are doing that, you need to be able to set who will be the blockchain you are using, who will be, what wallet. Did you remember I told you the essence of creating that wallet then when we were installing the Solana 2 suite? Go check the video. It's the previous video before this Solana Solidity for the series. So we check out to set up the wallet for your local for your development. If that you are doing minute or something, the same setup applies. So we need to know the wallet, the provider. Then this thing need to generate key pair and things like that. So all these are what is being set up for us here. While the other part is where you start testing by calling those functions you have in this Solidity, as you can see it, smart contract. So you start calling them and then you log. You see state, either it's valid or value 1 or something. So const value wait program, get data account public key view, and this one do the signer. Remember this one we need some signing because it's executing, is a setup function. It's making changes to the state of this. Once this execute, this smart contract state will not remain the same again. It was previously true, it will change to false. So for example, now if somebody run this function, now they will see this value will be true. But if they run it after you have run this, it will change to false and things like that. So that's why you will see this here, this initialize them, this view, then console log the something, and then you see it will run that function. This one is like accessing the account, the signature and everything. Assuming it's like mainnet, for example, this one you need to approve in your wallet and things like that. So then you await the call on the second method, which will help you to view. Then it console log the value as well. So this turn this, switch it, then this shows you again the value. So those are all the steps we need to, but don't fear. Why? Because this had make it so easy for us. with the anchor. That's why instead of going to use like Solang or something directly, you better use like Anchor, because it abstracts away all these steps, and with just a single command it does everything for us. So that's the good news there, and essence of using it. So let's copy this, or just anchor tests. Let's go and run it. You have your terminal. If you have closed it, bring it back up from here, terminal. So let's do that. That's anchor test. And before I run it, you will observe some things will be created here. They are your runtime based. Like once you run it, all those things need to be executed. You will see it here, and I will show you once I'm done. But let's roll this out. You see a lot of things are being created. You see this .anchor folder. I think I need to, let me move this up. Can you see that a lot of things are going on, but it says unable to get latest block hash, test validator does not look started. So even good we went through this, because I wrote it as part of error I went through. I don't know why most times I don't get this to work the first time. So you may need to wait some few minutes, a minute or 2 or 3, then try to run the anchor test or something again. So usually it's like this, we are not covering that, but as you develop more, this anchor I think will have some timing to wait. Maybe at times it tries to run the, you are doing about 3 things together. You are building, you are deploying, then you want to run tests. So at times when the deployment is not complete or so, then you have run tests, things will not. So another issue, you can let me know in the comments your own experience as well. That's just my own understanding. Let's rerun it. You can see it from the test script, running test script. It already tried to deploy first, you see. Good. You can see it now that the first state was what? True. The first state was true. Then the second state was false. Remember how I was explaining for you, so that this smart contract now, remember the value here is what? True. You see it? When you run this function, what happens is it now changes it from true. It has turned it to false because you have run this function. So any other check you do after that will now show this as false, because this function has flipped the value to the opposite, which is either true or false. That's why it's a boolean. That's why you are saying true or false here. And in this particular something, let me see. I think I told you to change something here. That before you run it, you should change it to hello Solana word. From hello world, change it to Solana world. So let's do that again and try to rerun it. What's happening? But the reality is that congrats, build, deploy your first Solidity based Solana program on Solana, and you are able to. And before that, let's open this Anchor to see this. Go to program log and remember your ID. If you look here, do you see it? Hello world. Can you see it now? Hello world program log, because the program log, once all those things execute, you see it is being logged here. So for you, you can change this in according to something, change it to log another thing for you to confirm that Solana words. I think I'll put S because we are using words here to match the name. So let's try and see. Now let me even test something. Over here, if I change this to false, so I think we should get the opposite of this. Let's retry it. Let's run. Can you see what I said? That initially it was true, because when this was true, this value was true. When it run the transaction flip, it flip it to what? To false. You understand? It flip it to false. So when you check it, you are able to see the false. The state was true initially, but now the state was false. After you flip, then on the check, you will get true. You can see it now. And if we go back and check here, you can see hello Solana world. So that is so interesting journey together with you. It's so amazing. You have built your first Solidity based smart contract on Solana as a native Solana program, and from here you can pick it up and you have an exercise before you go, and also some things. Let me see exercises we've got. Congratulations, you successfully built and deployed your first Solidity smart contract, not on Ethereum but on Solana with Solidity Solang, and the problem encounter, I've shared it. If you have any problem, share it. I may add them and the fixes as well to the guide, and maybe we'll do more video on them. So the exercise is you need to initialize a new Anchor Solidity folder with your name or your GitHub name or Discord name, so that will prevent somebody from just copying other people's code anyhow. Then change the Solidity constructor function hello world to hello dProgramming from your name here, or match the name you use here, must match the name here. Change the state variable like I did from true to false before the next step is done, and build and deploy it to Solana local validator. The fifth thing you should do is commit it to GitHub. Test it, make it work, then make sure you commit it to GitHub. So now submit screenshots of showing both how the result is. So from the result I can know what was initially there, false or true or false. Then also this that will output hello dProgramming University from your name, or your name that will be used there. So it should match your like this name or GitHub name, either of it, so that nobody just go copy, and it help as well for you to test things out. So that's the exercise in the Solana. Post it in the Solana dedicated Solana channel in the Programming University Discord. So I think the last one I told you to do is for us to do git status. It tells us we have modified this, so git add, then git commit -m, then change greeting and variable value. So we commit that, and we just git push this time because we have connected it. Ordinary git push should work. So you can see it now. Will I pop this up? So if we git status again, you see it has been done. If we go back to our git repo, because I want to see that, I will check it out. You can see this now 24 minutes ago, and it's just initialized. If I refresh, some of those files will change. You see it change greeting and variable value. That's the solidity. Everything remain the same because that's the only thing we change. If I go here, come here, and you can see it, hello Solana world, hello Solana world. You can see what I'm saying, and those things from true before to false. So this has been done. So this is what I'm expecting you to do and submit as well for check. So moving forward, what's the next step? I will be trying to go through more now what real world use cases and examples moving forward on Solang and Solidity. So that's why you should support the platform by liking, sharing, so that the more partnership support, the more, because this content takes a lot of time, resources to create and give out for free. So if you want to see more, especially walkthrough, I'll maybe start doing walkthrough example of some existing Solana example code, or even try to build some dApp and things like that moving forward. So, and then turn it to in-depth courses and other things like this, tutorial and guide like this for you, usually free. Then that's why you should subscribe, tap that notification, share the video, like, join the board, and that's it for this video. It's been a long ride together. See you in the next one. I remain Solomon Foske. Always keep the programming spirit high and alive. The only assurance to succeed as a programmer in the long term. And please, humanity and nature, your programming and coding skill are not evil, to make the world a better place for us all. That's it. In case you want that, just to work on my mouse gets sticky with my hand when I work too long like that. So some of you might be wondering what's there. So that's just it. I will see you in the next one. Peace and love.